As a student of communication, ladies and gentlemen, if you ask me the number of benefits which I'm receiving as a traveler and as a solo traveler, now the advantage of traveling solo that you are never solo. Uh, the only reason why people travel solo is not to enter into solitude in their life, rather, they get an opportunity of meeting new people because very important to understand that the only way we can gather information, knowledge, wisdom is via people, right? But not the same people. When you meet same people again and again, there's a limit up to which you can extract knowledge or maybe wisdom from them. So not same people, and not only those people who are enlightened, because to define someone is enlightened is very difficult. It's not like sine theta and cos theta, isn't it? Where the answers are perfect. So very important for us to understand. Wisdom is with people. Knowledge, information, stories, inspirations, guidance, and even hatred, even jealousy, the negative aspect of emotions. Everything is there on people. And but the most important thing which you can take from people is information. You cannot take someone's soul. You cannot take someone's feelings. What you can take from them is information, which is the very reason why millions of years ago, in the process of evolution, we started communicating to share information, isn't it? Nothing else. To share information. That is the reason why we communicate, to share information. Uh, Someone will be very fortunate if you have people in your life with whom you can speak with absolute zero sense, which I say 24 karat ki faltu baatein, which only friends can do. And they'll very, if you spend time like this with your friends where you're talking absolute nonsense, making no sense, very light conversation. The moment you want to give information, it's a little heavier conversation. Right? That's the nature of the communication. So, what I realize is, if I have to cut down all the conversation going in my mind and come to the point, one of the biggest advantages I have received as a communicator, I'm getting an opportunity of meeting new people, right? Not in search of people. Now, in case if you know get up in a day and then you say, yeah, today I will go and I will search for people where I find information and the knowledge and the enlightenment, it's very frustrating. It doesn't happen like that. It doesn't happen like that. That will be a frustration. That's like work. It's just like 9 to 5 work. A lot of expectations, a lot of feelings. Then you find it, then you feel happy. You don't find it, you feel unhappy. Oh my God, that's absolute vicious cycle of happiness and unhappiness. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you just travel, and then you meet people. Now, one problem which I have observed in people here is, as a traveler, and Himalaya is hosting people from various parts of the country. It's just not Indian territory. You come here. Unfortunately, many Indians come here to observe foreigners only with a different agenda. But that's a different part. That's a different story. That's a different aspect of life. But I have observed not only Indians, even other travelers, they hesitate to build communication with other people. That is the biggest mistake one can do as a traveler, that you hesitate to build conversation with people, you hesitate to meet new people. Of course, to meet people, you have to be with people, right? Uh, the best thing I will recommend, if you are traveling, don't take a room, private room, hotel. No, stay in hostels, stay in domes, where it's easy to build conversation because those people who are living in domes, they understand the importance of keeping it easy for others to break their ice and open the conversation. And the vibes is like that. So stay in hostels, stay in hostels, domes, places like that. I remember I doing a big mistake in last 2 years in my life, uh, not staying in hostels. That doesn't mean that I've never stayed in it, but I have a lot of friends with whom I have built conversation, and then I find very easy to break conversation with them. And then I ask them, where do you stay? And they say, hey, hostels, domes, and these are people, we are sharing a very close space, so we are very close to each other. So one strong recommendation: stay there. But uh, it's difficult sometimes to enter into conversation. If I take my journey, listen very carefully. I'm giving access to my journey. Even at the start, when I came here, and then 2 years ago, I used to crave meeting people because uh, um, as a student of communication, I had the habit of speaking, and suddenly no one is speaking with me. There's a limit up to which you can speak with people on phone or on Zoom. You need physical interaction. So I used to hesitate going. Uh, I saw people doing mistakes, like people are eating and they're indulged in eating and still going and entering into conversation, or two people are talking with each other, very intense conversation, and then you go inside and then you ask that $1 million question: "Where are you from?" What you will do from that talking? So I have done all those mistakes. It was a very new uh, craving for me, and then we also sometimes think like this, that if you build conversation like this with people, it means you are very confident people. And in case if you hesitate and if you don't build conversation like, then you feel exactly opposite, that hey, I'm not confident, isn't it? If you feel confident when you build conversation, you will feel non-confident when you are not able to build conversation. So that whole vicious cycle of pain and pleasure, I've gone through all that. So what I will recommend: observe. If you really want to build conversation with people, observe. Just observe, right? One of the biggest mistakes which I have seen people doing it is not observing when to enter into conversation, and not learning how to enter into conversation. Right? You cannot enter into someone's conversation with certain expectations. It's like someone is smoking, and then you enter into conversation only because you want that smoke. You cannot start. See, as a kids also, if you wanted to build a good conversation or good friendship with someone, then you used to offer something, right? Maybe a toffee, maybe a food or tiffin, your mother's food, by saying, "Hey, my mother has cooked this. Will you want to?" Something like that. You're giving. You cannot enter into conversation by taking something, right? So have zero expectations. As a solo traveler, ladies and gentlemen, before I end this conversation, I feel one of the biggest advantages I receive is I'm getting an opportunity of meeting people, because I'm learning the skill of entering into people's conversation and becoming a part of it. This is Pranav signing out. Until we meet again.